Welcome back to Unmasking the Trans Movement with Jon Uhler. I'm your host, Brad Wilder. Today, part 2 of our episode with none other than the legend, and I call him a legend because I don't think of anybody else when it comes to researching this particular topic about the disturbing books in our children's schools, not only here in Canada, but across North America. With that, let's bring in our host, Jon Uhler. Jon, great to have you back again today. Pierre is about to step into the limelight again with us. And really, maybe you can do a recap of what we went through in part 1.
Brad, I agree about Pierre is humble, but I'm going to put him up there with Lafayette and Patton. Pierre Barnes is with us. This is part 2. We're picking up where we left off. I highly encourage listeners, viewers to go back and watch part 1 because Pierre has a very unique skill, and he does a deep dive into the books that school boards are silencing parents with. Most people have now seen film clips where parents stand up in front of school boards. They've got the books in their hands, the books that come out of those school libraries. So these are books that come a part of what's called sexual orientation and gender identity, SOGI Sex Ed. This is the deviant stuff that is grooming kids. They're grooming their minds, they're manipulating their emotions and setting them up for really to be easy targets of manipulation and predation by predators, and then it sucks them further into the trans movement. Pierre, as a dad, he started getting involved. He felt compelled to find out what's going on in my kid's school, and before you know it, he started to dig deep, and so he has a website. We looked at that. I'm going to have him mention his website. Then Pierre is now going to tell us kind of his journey as he became active. So he says he's not an activist. He's just a regular dad that felt compelled to act on behalf of his kids. And then he has put together an incredible resource in his website. And he has a book locator where in real time, a parent can go onto his site and drill down into in real time, go through links and find out what is sitting currently on the bookshelves of your elementary school, your junior high or middle school, and your high school. Pierre Barnes, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Pierre, let's start with tell people the name of your website and then talk about your journey that led you to begin the process of really kind of putting school board members on notice because they are putting in front of kids what amounts to highly pornographic material that if these weren't animated, they would likely, if not, they would have to be charged with the corruption of minors and child exploitation because these are very graphic and deviant books.
Yes, they are. So the name of the website is exposingsogi123.com, and it's a very simple website when people can just walk through it and find out the books, the book review, the book location. I also have just that one is for Canada only. I would like to work on that part with maybe a couple American. That would be a good idea. I got all the teacher misconduct case accessible to public in Canada. I got all of the case related to sexual abuse there. They approximately 2,000 case, and they all on the site. And I got most of the later, and I sent to school districts and a couple of SOGI child mutilations advocate activist list there. That's the way I'm gonna name them, because that's what they are. Those who are pushing gender ideology, they are child mutilations advocate. I think that's the best word to describe them. So exactly. So yeah. So you want me to tell you when the journey start, or?
Yeah, let's let you, because as you felt compelled right? To get involved, to protect your kids. You're finding out, what are my kids reading here?
Yeah.
So you became aware of, and so you did a deep dive into these books. You've done a review. That's what we actually reviewed on the first part of this episode. Then you felt compelled to go to the school board. You actually spoke to one of the administrators, and he didn't know what was going on, and he finally his eyes were open. So you've kind of set a template, both in terms of you've blazed a trail and set a template as far as what a parent can begin to think in terms of, if they're sick and tired, if they need to be protective, which they do, what can they do to let school board members know that they're being served notice, so to speak?
Yeah. First, the school board have to be aware that the books are there, right? I know they need to have their own due diligence, and they should, look at the book themselves. But it's so yes, I think the best things to do is to make the school board aware of the kind of books that they have in school. And by doing this, actually, you can look at what kind of peoples are on the board, because the response is gonna set what kind of people they are. So if you show them the list of books that they have in the school district, and they replies to you by saying that those books are perfectly fine for children, then you know that something's wrong with that board in general. But sometimes you're gonna find a good trustee actually that's going to discuss with you and told you, yeah, I don't like this book either, and this book contains sexually explicit materials. And I had trustee that came back to me with those response. And so you got both sides, so you can kind of identify which one are the good one and which one are the weirdos. So it's just that's a good way to start an analysis actually of who is on the board, what kind of people are there, what they're doing, because they have to answer parent. And the power in being a parent actually is that they cannot cancel me. So I'm working for the teacher actually, because the teacher, they can't speak too much about it. Well, they're gonna lose their job. I think that some teacher are very strategic. They don't teach this to children. They play the games a little bit of being work, but they are not. They just want to keep their job, and they avoid teaching that kind of stuff to children. But some are just completely there, and they don't mind showing this kind of sexually explicit material to children and gender ideology as well. So yeah, so that's the power of a parent. They cannot cancel you. That's the thing. So it's very simple. So what I start to do years ago is every time I found, let's say that a teacher was canceled or a trustee was canceled, I was going right after that board, right after them, because they cannot cancel me. So then I did that with the Waterloo school districts when they canceled Caroline Boloski. I'm not sure if I got her family name correct. She was a teacher that was, she wanted to talk about the book Rick, which contain explicit stuff and subjects that are not really appropriate for children. And the board actually didn't want to hear her talk, right? So couple of days after that, I emailed the Waterloo school districts to show them all the books that they had that contain sexually explicit material in this school. So because they can't cancel me, so I was able to make the entire group of trustees aware of it. And I know there is a couple in that districts that are against showing that kind of stuff to children. So it gives them power, because now it gives them all the information, right? They have all this. So they don't need to go in the libraries and look it for themselves. They got all the information. So yeah,
Pierre, let me again make a pitch for your website. Yep. Parents can go on, and you have done a review. If you go and review part 1 of this, you'll see we did an extensive review, or we looked at a number of the books that you've done an extensive review. So what's wonderful about your site, and we owe you, we're indebted to you. You've reviewed the majority of the primary books that go along, that are put into these schools under the guise of SOGI Sex Ed. So you've done the work. All parents have to do is go onto your site, click on the picture of the book, up will come an analysis of this book, and they can actually print this off or go to a school board. And if they have the ability, if they allow you, but if somebody's serious, they'll allow the parent to bring up your site and you can review or print it out, the actual content of these different books.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason the way that I designed the website is to be able to be used as a presentation and to be able to be downloaded to everyone. So you can actually that's my minding. So when I go somewhere and I want to talk about this stuff, I just open my website. I got all the information there, and it's designed for presentation. So it's very that was the minding in place actually when I designed it, and it will stay that way, you know. So yeah. After I went for the first districts, let's say at my daughter's school, of course, then I decided to go after all the districts because that's in Canada we had a duty to report abuse, right? And it is our duty as Canadian citizens to report abuse, even if we just have a doubt that something happened. You don't really need to be certain that there is an abuse, but if you have a doubt that something could abuse, it is your duty to report. And actually, I realized then the more than I know, the more I find myself not forced, but
compelled, right?
What was the word? What the word?
Yep, compelled. That's
compelled.
right.
There you go.
And the term, and you highlighted something very important, because as mandated reporters, first of all, board members are mandated reporters. Anybody that has any significant contact with kids or oversight is a mandated reporter. Teachers are, but teachers are fearful of their job if they start. They're put between a rock and a hard place, but they still need to, so they can rely upon us as parents, equipped with the material that's on your site. But you highlighted an important word. It's not up to us to do the investigative work, though you have brought the information to a parent. If there is the suspicion, right? If you suspect, and once you read this material, and again, you reviewed it with us, these are highly graphic, sexually inappropriate, as far as the content, sexually inappropriate materials that are put in front of the kids. So it meets the criteria for a mandated report, because there is the suspicion of you're corrupting the morals of a child and you're exploiting them.
Yeah, that's exactly that. And that's what people are actually, they compelled by law to report this. So people who are aware that there is sexual explicit materials to children are doing nothing. They may pay some price later. You know what I mean? When the tide is going to turn, because you can't be silenced in the front of abuse, especially when you are mandated reporters. It's against the law. So it's very
Pierre,
simple.
you started to address your own school board members.
Yep.
And I've seen some of the work you've done. You eventually developed what amounts to a very forthright template, a letter, right? And each person is going to have to adapt the letter, but you've done a lot of the work. You have some samples, and do you have any that you can show us or read to us?
Sure, I got a couple of examples of letters actually.
Okay, and this will be helpful for parents.
Yep.
And I can announce now that that Pierre is going to be he's going to be doing a webinar with us, and he will walk through these things very systematically in the webinar, but so that parents have an understanding right now, like, okay, if they're ready to begin the process of letting their school board know that they're being put on notice, that they are sanctioning the exploitation of kids, the corruption of morals. Here's a good sample that Pierre has developed over time that you can
I can show you. I can show you a couple email that I sent actually.
There you go.
And that one actually, I sent this to the Alton School District. The Alton School District is the districts when that one went wild actually. Is the districts with the big breast guy? Is the same district? You remember the one with the big fake breast? So it's the same district. So
Oh
actually,
yeah, that shop teacher with the
there we go.
triple Z fake prosthetic breast that these poor kids were supposed to concentrate in shop. They had power saws and things on top of everything else. So, okay, so you sent it to that school board?
Yeah, but I sent that email actually before the event of that guy. So it's before it happened. I sent this to. So that was in June actually, 2022. That one, and so is the type of emails. I'm very, I don't use bad language. I try to stay very professional with the letter I sent to them. I'm not saying that I was always professional. There's some letter I sent to them that was, I was especially in my daughter's school, I was a little bit more upset. But I try to go very within the laws and mentioning everything that what is sexual abuse first. We talk about sexual abuse. We also have to define what it is. What is grooming? What are the consequences of being groomed? And what are the consequences of long-term of sexual abuse, basically? And John, I think you're a specialist in this matter, so this is something that you help a lot actually. with all the video that you made, you help a lot in accumulating that kind of knowledge. So it is one letter anyway. So actually, you want me to read it or?
You know what? Do that. I think that would be helpful for parents. Again, what you're reading is what can be a template, a sample letter that parents can access from your website to adapt to their own school board members. And what you do here is you include, let's see, we see it all up there. There you go. Look at how many school board members. He does a mass email to school board members. So go ahead, take it from the top.
Okay, so that one I just want to show to people who are listening the reply from one of the trustees. So the replies to the emails I'm going to show you after. And like you can see, she's a pronoun widow. So anyway, so she said, "God, I am concerned this individual, which is me, as include link to publications and video which may actually contain illegal content. I am not sure how to investigate the content of the email safely. Would you please advise us whether or not this person ought to be reported to police? If there is some action we should take." So I sent them the link to their own school board libraries, and they came back to me with this, saying that, "Oh, this is illegal content. We're going to contact the police." So anyway, so what happened is I replied to her, actually. She's a trustee. And I CC the police chief of Alton. So I said, "Dear Amy, I have CC the Alton chief of police into this email. Chief Tanner is the longest active serving chief of police in Canada." And that's true, okay? He's somebody. In January 2012, he was appointed by the Governor General of Canada as an officer of the Order of Merit of the police force. I really hope you will take the time to go through this email and the email attached and replies to your concern regarding the illegal contents of the books made available to children at the Alton School. In between, I will advise the school board to immediately remove those books from the library. For more information about those books, please see email attached. I give them my phone number. If the police or school board want to contact me, they can contact me anytime. So here we go. I've been contacted by police, not that one. I wish he would call me, actually, Chief Tanner. I would like to talk to him. And I had good discussion with the police, by the way, regarding that. And
here, I want to highlight just for a second. What was interesting is, and this is something that parents may be on the receiving end of, because as people have probably become aware of, there were very tactical moves by the pushers of the trans movement that they realized that a very strategic position to capture, as it were, is the school board. So while the majority of people really didn't give any attention to, they didn't give any mind to school boards, running for school boards. So parents are busy, people are working, trying to do the right thing. And we just assume that, well, somebody's going to run for school board and whoever it is, they have the best of intentions. Well, we didn't know how strategic school boards were. So what's happened is as parents have been, quote unquote, too busy, you have activists that got on these school boards. So first of all, I'm going to encourage every good parent to run for school board. So you have these activists that ran for school boards, and they have as their agenda the grooming of kids, the sexualizing of kids, the lowering of the bar when it comes to child protection. So Pierre comes along and he says, hey, you have these books in your library that are likely illegal. And so what is this woke? What is this? I'll call her a predator apologist. Okay, I'm not going to call her a predator. I'm going to call her a predator apologist because whether she knows it or not, she's doing the bidding of a sexual predator. So she's very strategic. She flipped the script on you, Pierre, right? So you write this concern. It was very professionally done. And what does she do? She's very snide. She writes back not to you, but to the head school board person or the superintendent. I can't remember who. And she says, oh, basically, oh, who is this guy, Pierre, who he has made links, he's added the links to possibly illegal material. I think he, Pierre, needs to be investigated. So you do see what she did, right? And so parents need to understand that's a classic predator apologist tactic, that if we bring up and say, here's what you got in these schools, they say, why do you have that in your hands? I think that's illegal material. And the fact that you have it or you've brought it to our attention, I think you need to be investigated. Forget the fact that they have it in the library for kids to access. So that's a classic tactic of the woke, the those that are pushing it, the trans activist pushers. So that's what you responded to here. It was very crafty. And so you said, oh, okay, well, then I'm going to see the chief of police.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. And I'm willing to defend myself in regards to this and exposing those people to what they are doing to children. If ever they come back to me and tell me, well, you expose us to these things, you put this stuff on your Facebook, I'm okay. I'm okay to go in the front of a judge and make my point. You know what I mean? Because this is done in good faith. This is done to protect the children. It is not done to go after a specific member of the board or specific political parties. What I'm doing is I'm showing them the sexually explicit material that they have in school. That's it. You know what I mean? And regardless of the freaking political parties anyway. So I'm gonna read you the letter that I sent to them, which she replied to. So I said, dear trustee. So I explained, the government gave authority for education governance to locally elected school board. So they have the authorities. Okay. School trustees are elected to local school boards to act for the legislatures and for the local community. School trustee exists for the children, and their role is to guide, protect, defend, and advocate for them. Therefore, educational policies are developed on what is best for the growth, protections, and development of the whole child. Trustee partner with the parents. That's very important. Trustee partner with the parents as they provide the children with the best possible teachers and educational opportunity. In doing so, they cannot obscure the roles of the parents and family. It seems that the process of guiding, protecting, defending, and advocating for children is at serious risk. Most authority believes our schools are safe. Others are beginning to question that point of view. Why? Look what's been happening in our school. Safe zone, safe space, same sex, safe puberty blockers, safe cross-sex hormones, safe gender clinic, and now safe sexually explicit materials in school library. Our children are no longer safe. They are in danger. Child sexual abuse by K-12 school personnel in Canada. That's a report actually from the Canadian Center of Child Protections. It's found by the government actually, and they investigating all the child. They helping to prevent child abuse, and they have 2 investigations in Canada that explain the epidemic of sexual abuse that is happening right now in K-12 school. So this is two report. So I give them the links of the report. Okay. As parents and Canadian citizens, I am concerned about the safety and well-being of those children under your authority. I have reason to believe that children or youth have been or could be likely abused or neglected based on what I have seen and the information I have found on your library site. I believe that books and information found on your library site cause severe risk to the safety and well-being of our children under your authority and care. Children aged 5 years old up to 17 years old at the school cited below have been or at risk of being exposed to these books containing sexual reference, sexual activity, and sexual material. Some books also show children and adults engaged in or depicted as engaged in sexually explicit activity. The main characteristic of those books relate to sexual activity and expose children to individuals engaging in sexually explicit acts, including exposure to adult pornography and encouraging children to masturbate or watch others masturbate. This is all illegal. Huh? That's why I'm wording this exactly that way, because this is illegal. What is in the book? Okay. These books have a sinister agenda. They are not guided by any universal standard of right and wrong. The full language lift the boundary most parents have set for their children and present a malevolent dimension that must be curtailed and eliminated. They are used to desensitize children and make them easy prey for predators. Rather than guiding and protecting our children, keeping these books in the library offer up our defenseless children to the degradations of immoral authors and other of the ilk. In addition, it makes it easy for potential abusers to target our children. Yeah. On the other hand, in the name of political correctness, we claim to protect our children from racism and or inconvenient history. While on the other hand, in the name of diversity, we expose them to pornographic and sexual and toxic sexual behaviors. I understand that resources must be inclusive and suitable based on diverse social considerations. Nevertheless, resources are to be age appropriate and within the boundary of the rules of law. So here I state according to the Canadian Centre of Child Protection, non-contact sexual abuse is as follows. Encouraging a child to masturbate or watch others masturbate. Secretly recording or observing a child in a private situation for sexual purpose. Exposing a child to individual engaging in sexual activity act, including exposure to adult pornography. Exposing a child to child sexual abuse material. Flashing or exposing genital to a child. Communicating over technology to make it easy to commit a specific offense against a child, during a child. Taking a picture or recording of a child's sexual organs for sexual purpose. And this is all in those books, by the way, what I'm stating there. Okay, so in good faith, I will advise the school board to immediately remove those books from the library, contact the librarians, review those books with teachers and parents, and review material selections policy. Please advise of how the board will proceed. I include the following information to help you better understand the above mentioned concern. Please do not hesitate to ask if you need more information regarding those books in your library system. Kind regards, Pierre Barnes. So, and here, if you go down, I give them, all the screenshot of the books and the library here. If you click here, it's going to open the library. You see, the book is still. Oh, maybe they remove it actually. That's possible. Oh, that's maybe a good sign. Maybe they remove that one. Who knows? Okay, so. Or maybe the link doesn't work. We'll see. I'm gonna have to look at that one again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at the Alton School District again. Who knows? Maybe they did something. So anyway, so I provide them all the list of books, where the books are in which school, because you see, even if the thing is since I've been pushing them, they start to hide the information actually. But if you go on book locations here, and I click on Alton.
And Pierre, what you're going to show us so that parents understand, again, this is on your website.
Yep.
You now are showing a resource that you have developed called the book locator. So along with drafting a letter, so you have now provided a sample letter or a letter that they can use as a sample. And now you have on your site where they can go and click on it and go down to the granular level right into the school to find out, are these specific books on the shelves right now, or does a student have them checked out?
Yeah, there we go. So you see that, and I got all the screenshots here of what I previously downloaded. So I got the books here. So I can always keep a screenshot of all the research I'm making. I got the screenshot here, and then I got, you see, Sex is a Funny Word, how many location that book was. So yeah, so the book is guise there too. So I got this is on the website, and you got the Excel sheet here. The Excel sheet, if you click on this link, if they didn't, because now they start to remove those links, but if they didn't remove the link, it should open the school library. Here we go. So now that one is the library. You see, the other boys and all those school here. So the links of the Excel sheet that is on the site will direct you to the libraries of the school. So which is very useful because
you
this
really
is
have done the
library.
You've done the footwork. You've done the footwork for parents.
Yeah, they just click on it. You know, the 8 you give. That's the other boy again. But yeah, so
yeah, Pierre, could you then actually now, and it's so telling. I mean, your letter was very appropriate. It was very deferential. It was very professional. So it's all the more telling. So you send this out to a school board.
Yep.
If I'm a school board member and I don't know that these kind of books, these deviant books, that if a sex offender were found in possession of one of these books, I do sex offender treatment along with regular kind of counseling and for survivors. But for the men in my sex offender treatment group, if they were found in possession of any of these books that you've reviewed, especially in part one of this interview, they would be failed out of sex offender treatment, sent back to prison. So these books are deviant. They are perfect for grooming of kids, and that's what happens.
Yep.
So you alerted the school board, and one snide activist, there's no other way to put it, so instead of being appreciative and instead of saying, oh my gosh, I was unaware of this, what does she do? She sends a response not to you, but she CCs you, but to whoever she's writing to, saying, hey, the sender of this email, meaning Pierre, right? She didn't even want to say Pierre Barnes, but Mr. So-and-so, the sender of this email appears to have sent links to illegal material. Well, as you pointed out, the illegal material is this. So here she has acknowledged that it's illegal material, but that's how snide. So she tried to say, you're the one pushing possible illegal material because you are reporting it to the board. That's how snide these folks are. So Pierre, if you wouldn't mind now, we're on your site. We'll do it quickly, and then during the webinar that you're going to be a part of, I mean, you're going to present. You're going to actually walk parents through how to do this, and parents will get used to being able to use this tool. So, but for right now, just a brief overview. Show us, as for instance, the first time. So if I go onto your site, where am I going to begin to look up some of these books?
Yeah, I just want just one thing before. I just want to point out a good answer, good replies from one of the trustees. The name of the trustees, Daryl Ferguson. I emailed them all the books and some bad communication I have with one of the trustees.
Oh, so somebody responded to you appropriately. Let's hear it. This is good.
So Daryl responded to me. Say, thank you, Pierre. I appreciate the solid research you have done regarding these inappropriate books depicting explicit sex act. I will do all I can to protect children from these type of resources being brought into our schools by rogue activist teachers, librarians, or staff. The board is charged with reviewing learning resource. He admit that, and that this task must not be done by others. And this task must not be done by others, whether teacher or not. I am sorry for the insulting, unprofessional, and totally unnecessary response of Trustee Willow with her demeaning comment about you as a human being. She has shown a complete lack of decorum and inability to fulfill her role as a trustee, which is to listen, to the public with genuine interest and concern. Yeah, so we all
Look
know.
at that. He took the words right out of my mouth. So a fellow board member was appalled by how this Willow gal, the board member, responded to you.
And the things, they are good trustees. So when you show them the material, they will be good trustees that are going to reply to you in a good way. And thank you for the research and do something about it. So yeah, so there also, yeah. So that's one. Okay, so you wanted me to guide the
just do kind of let's pretend I am in, how about Vancouver?
Okay.
Let's say
Vancouver.
Okay, I'm familiar with Chilliwack because
Yeah.
I did a comment on Karen Bondar, and if she's listening, boy, did she try to assert that former trustee Barry Neufeld said she was a striptease artist, and all he did is show her former videos from wild sex. So sorry if she doesn't like what's on her own films, but a highly sexualized and sexually deviant individual. And if she wants to debate me, happy to have her come on here. We would welcome that. Yeah. But so she's on. So we'll find out what she has done as a school board member as far as overseeing the protection of kids. So let's do Chilliwack. So what are the British Columbia, and then one of the Chilliwack schools. Let's do an elementary school. Let's find a book.
Yeah, you can go to Chilliwack. I'm going to use the PDF because they remove the access to everyone. So the PDF here is contained the. Oops.
So basically, they keep trying to keep you out from finding these books. Is that correct, Pierre?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, they try.
So they try to block access for someone to find out what their kids have access to, and you keep you're a better sleuth than they are trying to block you, which shows you they're actively preventing parents. You're a parent. They're actively working to subvert parents' attempt to have full knowledge of what is being presented and provided to their kids.
Well, they are science parents because they know we are right. You know what I mean? If they were so convinced of the ideas, they will have an argument with us. This everything they do, showing everything about those books, shown to children is wrong. It's very simple.
There we go. Okay, so let's say Chilliwack. Again, I'm familiar with that because of compliments of Karen Bondar. Okay, so it's a smaller school district, right in the middle of, or kind of on the outskirts of.
80,000 people live in Chilliwack, I believe.
There we go. So I'm a parent, and I want to find out what kind of books, and you're showing me what now?
Okay, so you go on the website and you go on book location, and oops, it's going to reload this book location. Then I need to add more stuff to it, but. You find out if your district is there. If the district is there, you click on the district. That's the Excel sheet here. I got two. I got the Excel sheet that show the book and the school where the book is. So you can filter. You can filter, say, per school. Say all in the Chilliwack Middle School, they got all those books, and you can mess around Excel a bit. This is the link to access the books, but look at this. I think they remove it. Oh no, not anymore. Oh, some school they remove it actually. Yeah, I want to see it's still there. Still have access to it. So if you view more, so this is all the school. Yeah, so they still you click on the links on the Excel sheet, and that link is going to bring you directly to the libraries of the school.
So with one of these books, now which ones did you review with us? Choose one of the ones that you reviewed, and let's find out which schools right now in Chilliwack currently have that book. How about, are they in any of the elementary schools?
Yeah, but we review identical. The elementary school, the elementary school, there is Art Stopper actually. And that one, we didn't review this, but that one talk about sucking dicks and all this stuff. So, and the parents from Chilliwack actually complained about that book, and he was on Rebel News because his daughter came back home with that book, so he did a complaint.
As a matter of fact, gender queer, I see it right there.
Yeah,
we reviewed that in part one. Let's find out what schools that one's in.
That one is in. You see, they blocked that one.
Oh, they really
But
are working
that's fine.
hard
That's
to
fine.
make sure
Okay.
parents can't find this.
Yeah. But no, but look at this.
If I'm a parent in Chilliwack, I should be very upset that
Yeah.
people are working hard to make sure that I, as a parent, can't access what's in the library.
Yeah, but I got everything here. So even if I got the informations right into the PDF here. So what I do every time I do a research before I send the research to the public, I always do print everything about that research. So I gotta prove that it was there. Just in case they decide to hide it, because there is actually an option on the software that you can just hide the books if you want. But what they don't know is you can know there is a way, with programming, is that you can find out if they click the options or not. So those people are stupid, man. It's just
You're making them very nervous, and that's a sad thing.
oh, yeah,
Accountability, a little bit of sunshine. We
yeah.
should have complete sunshine. So, Pierre, choose one of the books that you reviewed with us in part one, and let's find out what schools.
The hate you give is in middle schools here.
And that was all the one with all the F bombs,
Yeah.
F this, F that.
Oh, they even have the N word on this.
Okay, yeah. So there's a good example. It's not just books that are sexually inappropriate, but this one was riddled with the F word all through it.
Oh yeah, so that one is see, it's all over those school here. I'm just gonna
look at that, all through middle schools.
Yeah, just gonna open it that way. It's gonna be bigger. And okay, good. There we go. So that's the one. The hate you give here. Middle school, secondary schools.
Okay, now this was right there. Let's do this one because we covered that's a highly deviant book right there. All boys aren't blue. So let's find out what schools that one's currently in.
That one is in the Chilliwack Secondary School. Yeah.
Okay.
And that one, we didn't look at that one actually. Well, we're gonna look at
maybe
it.
I've seen it before,
Yeah.
Okay, let's find out. So this is on your site as well. Parent can go in.
Yeah, so if you go there, you can see like that's what it is in the book, right? Each his hand down and pulled out my dick. He quickly went to give me head. So it's like, okay.
So it starts right out. Look at that, page 2, right?
He got on the top and slowly inserted himself onto me. So and this they talk about anal sex.
Okay.
Man. So anyway, so that's
this is
so I previously topped someone who clearly enjoyed it, but he had been enjoying anal sex before. Anyway, all this crap, man. I try to read it the less than I can because it's it's a waste. It's a waste stuff to read, man. And that's it. When I do the review, I always sometimes I save the site, or I'm gonna print it as a PDF. So I got full archives of it because this starts. I fear that at some point they're going to delete stuff and make us gaslight us to believe that they never had those books in school. They're just making this up. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to keep what I try to do, and I do have a lot more than I have a lot more than what I put on the site actually. So I try to every evidence that I know can be used in court later, I keep it. Everything that I have any doubt that can be used in 2, 3 years, 5 years. I archive the site, so it's there, so the data is not lost because they will delete the data at some point when they're gonna be put into a corner. But so if they do, but the thing is right now is they cannot delete the data because in order to groom a populations to believe that this is correct, they have to expose the populations to it and show that they are confidently exposing the populations to it, right? Because if they hide the data, that means that like they start to hide the books. Why did they hide the book? Because the books are wrong, right? But so that's why they make all these things and valuables everywhere, right? Is because that's the only way you can groom a populations to believe something is good, is to do like if it's good, like if it's legal. It's gaslighting, man. It's grooming. You can name it many way, you know. So that's why they are showing all this stuff to people. And yeah, anyway, so there is there, that, that's my point about that, right? At some point they're going to download to delete it, but the day they're going to start to delete it, that's the day we win, right? When they're going to start to delete the informations, because
they're
that's
admitting
the
then they have
we realize
inappropriate. That's right. Their material would be inappropriate. That's why they're going to delete it.
that's where people are going to wake up. This is where the grooming is going to stop, and people are going to be awake and realize, oh my gosh, we've been groomed that this thing was good, that it was okay to show this to children, but actually it does more damage than good. That's for sure. You know, the school board sometimes they come and they said that, well, you know, we do this in order to prevent sexual abuse. I say, well, so basically the minding of the school boards is in order to prevent sexual abuse, you're going to abuse a child. It's like spirit, it's not right. You know what I mean? So let's just show them sexual expert materials in order to prevent this. You know, it's so in the old day actually the way that the police force were able to interrogating a child about sexual abuse is something very tricky, and people have to be very careful when they encourage a child to not put them told about what to say. You know what I mean, right? The child have to say what happened without being influenced, kind of.
That's right. You can't coach a child
Yeah,
if you're investigating child abuse.
there we go. So that's the thing. So the interrogation process is very important, right? And usually the police, but the specialists within the police force in regards to sexual abuse, they know when a child has been abused because of what the child said, and because about things that the child say about sexuality that no child should know, right? So that's the way they identified if something is wrong. Even in school, that's the way that the teacher were able to see if something was wrong at home. If the child was speaking about sex all the time and speaking about, you know, weird stuff that no child talk about, well, the problem now is they, you know, it's all there. All the documentation is in school. So where do the child get the IDs? Okay, do the child is abused in school, or do the child get the ID from the libraries? Now you cannot find the child who are abused at home, which is half of the child who are abused from home, from the family systems, right? It may be more than half. You know, you probably know the statistic more than me in this regard, but there is a lot more actually child that are abused at home. So not and that's why actually teacher were very useful to find out which child were abused, but now it's hard for them because children have access to this and they normalize the conversations about sexuality. So the child who's been abused is it's very hard to identify him or her, and now so it's so, gosh, it's bad for the victim, man. That's yeah, it's
That's right. I mean, it was just polluting the kids' minds and introducing concepts. Here, I'm aware that time is drawing to a close.
yeah.
You had referenced it. I do want you, if you wouldn't mind, you have on here, you've done the work, you have on here access to past or teachers and school officials that have a criminal history of somehow of sexual abuse, abusing kids. Where can they find that on your site?
They go to a teacher misconduct case here, and they type whatever name. Let's say, they got. If you put B, they're gonna be that's it. And you click here, and this gonna bring you to see this teacher regulations government of BC. So this is directly on the governmental side, that case here. So you see, so then every case that you find here is directly linked to governmental site. Well, I don't know the PDF, of course, but I wanted to give the people the source. Most of everything on my website is linked to the source. It's not something that I really download it and give them the PDF. I try when I can to send them directly to the source so they know it is the truth. It's not. People cannot doubt that that is the truth, because I can't say, well, here is a teacher, here's 2,000 case of teacher misconduct, give them 2,000 PDF, and then they say, oh, okay, well, so what's that mean? They don't know if this is real or fabricate or false informations. But when I give them the link directly to the governmental site that shown those abuse, well, it's the truth, right? So
Right.
I always try to give the source to people, to the where I find info. So that's why if you look at the tab here, it's right on the teacher regulations of BC, and you gotta find the Ontario too, in some case. The other one is the Kelly Ontario College of Teacher. Kelly CanLII is it's a website that contains a bunch of court case actually. So those are all related to sexual abuse. So yeah. So
And
what
then-
I did is I download all the case of teacher, and I download all the case of teacher misconduct all across the country, but just on 3 provinces, because in Canada there's only 3 provinces that make the case public. So only on 3 provinces. Okay, so I download it and I indexed everything, all the case. So I filter all this. I index everything, and I was looking for keywords, right? Like sexual, porn, rooms, and all this stuff. And then I was able to identify the 2,000 case, put them aside, start to read them a little bit, and put them there. So that was that's the process. That's all I was able to review that much document that fast.
There you go.
So,
and what's so important about this is, again, for purposes of child protection, if you have school districts that have allowed people back in around the schools, or now, let's say this teacher leaves the school, but he's going to become part of a youth organization, a sporting, we need to be able to know who's around our kids. And here's an additional concern. And we're coming up to the end now. So this will be very important for parents to understand. There's a push, again, to be able to change your name. If you're a man that is sexually deviant, wearing women's underwear and now drag, and you make the case that you identify as a woman, you can have your name changed. Well, so now I have a teacher. So if I'm an administrator, if I'm a parent, and if somebody's changed their name, am I going to find the guy's name that he was going under, his previous name? That's where the offense is. I'm not going to see, or if some guy comes out of prison and has his name legally changed, I have no meaningful ability now to do a background check on Miss So-and-so, who used to be Mr. So-and-so, perping on kids. That's a huge public safety concern. Pierre, with the few moments we have left, what message do you want to give to parents? Because you've been a dad, you stepped in, you've done the work, and you're an example to those of us that are dads and parents of a guy that was just a normal guy that said, I got to get involved.
But for parents, it's just do something, man. Whatever you can do it, even if you.
And Pierre, do you want to take us out of, let's go back to full screen so we can see you clearly there.
Yeah, I just want to show something first.
Oh, yeah.
To the surgeons, just to end up this, because this is the consequence of gender ideology. Okay, when people are saying that there is there's just a few. This is one clinic, okay, and I got the timestamp of those pictures, 2022, 2022, and if you go up, and I got until.
And what you're looking at is, this is what is being called top surgery. These are young people that had healthy breasts removed. These are I would say the victims of double mastectomies, and doctors have made lots and lots of money off kids with skin in the game.
Yeah, you see, they said that kids that's going to be a boy, it doesn't even have nipple. You know what I mean? This is pure evil, what those people are doing to children. It's ridiculous.
These are kids that have mental health issues that have not been given proper help. A lot of these kids were sexually abused. Oh gosh,
it's ridiculous, man. So you see, the thing is, when they are saying that this does not happen, why here I got 3,000, almost 3,000 documents into this, divided by 3 because I got the IDs and the text. But so it's 1,000 mutilations right there, one clinic. And this is just the things that they shown online.
And
So
these
those
are all
people,
from
they like to brag
one
about
clinic,
this.
one
Huh?
clinic. These
McLean Clinic in Ontario.
unbelievable.
It's
This
that
is
guy,
just vile.
these two guys there, one of them is a psychopath. He was walking with a bucket with breast tissues, and he took some pictures on
I've
this
seen
online.
him. I've seen
that.
him.
That's one of the guy worked right at that clinic, right at the McLean Clinic.
He's taking young ladies, whacking
imagine.
their breasts off because they have mental health issues. They believe. Look at this.
Whoever told me
is
that this is gonna fix someone, man, that
yeah, you think that young gal, she has XY chromosomes. I don't care what you're going to call. She's a young lady who has XY chromosomes. You can call her a guy, but she isn't. We have to be precise.
You see, they mess up your mind. They told you that a man can be a woman can be a man. That's one thing.
Still has XY chromosomes.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, they decapitate, they mutilate children like that. Those children has been put on puberty blockers. But I mean, some of them, no, they're probably 18 and they're 20, but they've been put in puberty blockers before. You know what I mean?
They're gonna be lifetime consumers of pharmaceuticals. Yeah. They have to be on pharmaceuticals now the rest of their life.
Here's the pictures of one of the psycho there. You know, it looks very nice. Like all the pedos and all the psycho, they looks like nice people and a nice smile, right? But that's one here.
I wonder how much he made off this young lady's breasts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
unbelievable, unbelievable.
It's ideological, but it's for the money too. It's crazy, man.
That's right. And this all fits in because you start to sexualize these kids. You dumb down their intuition, you lower their inhibitions, and they are ripe for predation. And the vast majority of these kids, in one way or the other, that have their breasts whacked off are young ladies that are in a dissociative state. They don't want to be in a female body. And why? Because a lot of them have had their boundaries crossed, and they, on some level, believe if they weren't a girl, then they wouldn't have been abused.
Yeah.
So you do not help a young woman by slicing her breasts off, thinking that this isn't going to come back to haunt her emotionally in the future.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, man. They're taking advantage of autistic children, of children who has been abused, of children who don't have a stable family. Those people are just pure monsters. They are evil. You know, those people who mutilate children are evil. They should all end up in jail. For me, there's no doubt about it.
Yes,
and they will.
They're continuing the abuse, gentlemen. They're continuing the abuse on these poor kids that have mental health issues that needs to be rectified.
There you go. Well, Pierre, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and close out of that screen. There we are. Pierre, you I say it often, but you're a wealth of knowledge, and you know that's really. I'm glad you ended with those pictures. If somebody is shocked, they need to be shocked because this is really the end result. So we sexualize these kids on the front end. They get into the trans deception, the trans movement, which is a moving sidewalk, puberty blockers, then cross-sex hormones, and dump them out on the surgeon's gurney. That's why we need to be so concerned about this. Pierre, thank you. Thank you for the work you've done. Thank you for being a protective father. And we will have you back if you're willing to come back on, and we will continue to talk about your research.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
Brad, and thank you as always.
Thank you very much, John. And thank you very much, Pierre. You guys are fantastic. We're really getting the message out now. This is 2 fantastic hours that I hope parents pay attention to and watch and learn from. This is Unmasking the Trans Movement with Jon Uhler. I'm Brad Wilder. Remember, it's not your kids' fight. It's our fight. So take initiative now. Take the proper steps now and go to exposing.SOGI123.com. Visit Pierre's site and get all the resources and all the information you need to stand up and take a fight. We'll see you next time.